my hometown right now. Kind of. I'll give you a quick update on me. So I got my first student. However, me and my student did a great job. You have to do 4 hours of local work is what it's called. Kind of like, practicing on the pad, doing, driving around Springfield or whatever city you're based out of, Salt Lake or Pittston. You do 4 hours of local work, and then you can take your student over the road to like haul some freight and start teaching them to pass their CDL license test. Anyways, so me and my student just we did our 4 hours of local work. He did a great job. He really did. I think he was harder on himself than he really should have been. I even told him that. Like, I'm not gonna tell y'all nothing I ain't already told him. But he was a little harder on himself than he really should have been. I told him, like, dude, you're doing a great job, man. You got 4 hours of experience right now. Like, come on, bro. Give yourself a break, man. You're doing a great job. But after we left, we just had this a minor hiccup, something he had to go back to Springfield to take care of. Literally a super minor hiccup. But it set him back like 2 days. That was it. But in those 2 days, I really needed to haul freight. I'd already been down. My truck had already been down for about a week or something like that. So I went to haul some freight. He took care of his business. He actually ended up getting reassigned just because I got so far away. It wasn't reasonable enough for him to wait on me. I actually swung through the house, right? Needed to put the truck in the shop briefly before I picked up the next one because I anticipated the next one was going to kind of, it's going to be a long haul. I wouldn't have time to do some of the things on my list for the shop, including getting my overhead done. I'm at 142,000 miles. So I need to get that first overhead done. Your first overhead that you need done, Prime actually covers the cost of it. So that's awesome, right? So my truck's in the shop right now getting the overhead done and then some other stuff. Like when you open the passenger door, the interior light comes on. But as soon as the door hits fully open, the interior light comes back off. So whatever sensor that is, there's some sort of pinched wire or something like that. So truck's in the shop for that also. Some other stuff. Nevertheless, I'm hoping to get it back because I already got my next trainee, man. So I'm hoping to get, I was just texting him, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping to get that truck back so we can get to work. Anyways, that's that. I don't know. Anyway. Having a good time at home. I want to talk about the real difference between lease and company right now. But just want to give you that quick update. Having a good time at home. I actually just got off the farm. I think I'm going to throw a clip of me working with a friend of mine and a horse in the intro. So that's actually what I just got done doing right before recording this video. So that was fun, man. I like working with horses. I love helping people communicate with horses. I just really enjoy it. So right now that's what I smell like. If you could smell me, you would smell horse manure, and deer fly all in one scent in your nose. But anyways, listen, let's get to it, okay? This is as I'm actually recording. This is my first video of the week I'm recording, and I'm behind the 8 ball, but I got a lot I want to talk about. First is, what is the real difference between lease and company, okay? This is primarily directed for the people who are thinking about coming to Prime and they are new to trucking. Entirely new. I'm not talking about seasoned drivers coming to Prime. I'm not talking about rehires. I'm talking about people who are brand new, because everybody thinks the biggest difference between company and lease is money, and that is just so not true. And there are so many implications to believing that money is the biggest difference. People want to say, oh yeah, expenses. Yeah, but you're really not covering it. So I want to make just one video. I've mentioned this on live before. I've mentioned it in other videos, but I want this video to be dedicated to the actual difference between company and lease. Here is how I perceive the actual difference between company and lease drivers. It really comes down to responsibilities. That's what it don't come down to the dollar, man. It don't come down to the dollar. Because there's some companies that you can work for that their company drivers will make more than me as a lease driver. Or their company drivers will make more than most lease drivers in the country. I mean, there's some company positions that are banging like that. Right? So, It's really comes down to responsibilities, okay? What are you responsible for? All right? As a company driver, you are responsible for the three things Prime holds us all responsible for. Delivering freight in a safe manner, picking it up and dropping it off in the same manner in which you dropping your freight off in the same manner in which you picked it up, and doing so safely. That's what they want us to do. They want us to pick up freight and drop it off in the same manner in which you picked it up. They want you to deliver that freight, from point A to point B on time, and they want you to do that safely. And of course, you got to fuel the truck and etc. But lease drivers are just responsible for more. We're responsible for the health of our business, right? We're responsible for having money set aside for emergencies. We're responsible for saving and executing the payment of our taxes, right? We're responsible for taking care and replacing parts out of our own pocket if it's not under warranty. We're responsible for negotiating pay with employees of the business, other co-drivers, the people who are running trucks and etc. We are responsible for more. Some people like to say, if you're a lease driver, you're not a business owner, you're a glorified company driver. I don't know how many times I read that a week or hear it on people's YouTube channels. But what you're saying is absurd. People who talk like that, they don't really take knowledge seriously. They don't take factual information seriously. They don't take truth seriously. Don't listen to people who don't take truth seriously. Says, oh, you say you're a business owner only because you have a business name under Prime's authority, right? That is not literally true. And literally take the word literally as it is defined. That is not literally true. According to grammar, according to literature, according to diction and the words that you chose, it's not true. My EIN number, my employee identification number, is filed with the government, not with Prime. Kinley LLC is filed with the government, not with Prime. It was formed in the state of South Carolina, not with Prime, right? It's simply not true. Well, you're not really a business owner. You're not really, an owner operator. No, I'm a lease operator. Well, you're not really a business owner because, you have forced dispatch. Well, no, not really. Because I'm able to decline loads, or I'm able to set my PTA out as long as I want to. If I want to take 3 weeks off, well, I believe the number of days I can go 59 days, if I'm correct, 59 days without actively being dispatched. My driver code, KINTRA, being dispatched. Well, you have forced dispatch. Well, no, that's not true, though. That's not true. Oh, but you can't see the load board. Yeah, but there's a lot of people who lease trucks that can't see the load board. There's only a slight difference between me as a lease driver and someone who is leasing their truck from a separate lender, right? A separate place like what is it called? Not Iron Mountain. Somebody will drop it in the doggone comments or whatever. You'll see it. But from leasing from another lender, there's only a slight difference. Like, of course, cost will be one of the differences. It's going to cost differently. You insuring your truck, trailer, everything, all insurance is going to be on you, depending on the lender that you go to. But nevertheless, outside of that, once they lease their truck from these places that just lease trucks and don't provide freight, then you're going to go lease your company, your business, onto another carrier. Right? There is a difference, don't get me wrong. But it's not it's not like an astronomical difference like the difference between a company driver and a lease operator. There is a good difference between a company driver and a lease operator. There's a gap there. Let me give you an analogy. I like to analogize it and compare it against the difference between a restaurant owner and a bartender. Okay? The restaurant owner, right, may seem like he don't work as hard. He don't be, he ain't putting as many hours in a week as I am. Not all the time. Sometimes he be in here, but sometimes it seems like he barely ever in here, or he just not doing it as much. But the bartender be in here, like she be in here in the weekend. She be in here until 2 a.m. He or she be in here until 2 a.m. I was thinking about a specific bartender I used to work with. he or she being here until 2 a.m., you know, yeah, but is that the only difference? Is it just the money that they make and how often they're working? It seems to me the reason the bartender has a bar to tend is because the restaurant owner is doing what the restaurant owner needs to do. If the lights turn off because the restaurant owner didn't pay the bill, suddenly the bartender ain't got no bar to tend. If the cable ain't paid and the people ain't watching the cable, the football games, they want to watch at the bar, and then people stop coming to the bar, that's on the restaurant owner. The bartender is going to go to the restaurant owner and start complaining. You see, when some guy, you know, gets mad in the bathroom and breaks a mirror, who's responsible for replacing the mirror? It's not the bartender, right? If that restaurant owner is a franchisee, you know, someone who is operating a franchise restaurant, let's say it's IHOP. IHOP's not paying for that broken mirror. The restaurant owner is responsible for that. It's the same thing. Lease versus company is really about responsibility. It's really about responsibility. Okay? Sure, the restaurant owner may get paid more, but that restaurant owner is taking on a lot more risk and liability. Okay? Most recently, I had a conversation with someone about this because they were thinking about being hired onto a lease driver's truck as a company driver. And they were saying that it just doesn't seem right that they should be taking home more money than me when we're doing the same job. And I say, yeah, but when you think about it, y'all really aren't doing the same job. Not really. Just because the restaurant owner will tend the bar doesn't mean the restaurant owner and the bartender are doing the same job. It really comes down to responsibility. That's the main difference between a lease driver and a company driver. It comes down to responsibility. Sure, the bartender is working according to hours or tips. Let's say that, you know, this was a restaurant that didn't work on tips. It was just an hourly thing. The bartender works off of the hours while the restaurant owner doesn't. The restaurant owner wants the restaurant to be as profitable as possible. If 1 month the restaurant is showing $20,000 more profitable than last month, the restaurant owner is going to collect that profit after paying all the expenses. What do you want, man? You can't be a company driver and you want to collect more profit, but then as soon as something breaks on the truck, as soon as the tires need to be replaced, you don't want nothing to do with the expenses. Come on, bro. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Can't have your cake and eat it too. So listen, I thoroughly enjoy being a lease driver. I understand that I carry risk. I try to reduce and mitigate those risks by saving money. So I have money to handle any emergencies and issues that will spring up, because eventually something's going to break, dude. It's a machine, man. What do you want? It's a machine. Something's going to break. Be responsible. That's really what lease driving is about. You're new, you think about coming to Prime. Should I go lease a company? Should you go lease a company? Do you want to be responsible? Ask yourself those questions. Don't ask yourself about the money, all the home time, all of that stuff. Don't talk about that stuff. Do you want to be responsible? Everybody wants home time. Come on now. Everybody wants home time. Everybody likes to be home. Do you want to be responsible though? Because like right now, this is my second time home in the month of July, but I know now I need to stay out like 6 to 8 weeks. I really need to, let's pound the pavement here. You see what I'm saying? As a company driver, you probably ain't gonna want to do that though. You want to stay home twice in July, but you ain't trying to go out for 2 months again. You see? It's responsibility, man. I'm not saying all company drivers are like that. You understand what I'm saying though. At least I hope you understand what I'm saying. If not, rewatch the video because I gave enough examples of it already. It's really about the responsibility, y'all. All right? It's really about the responsibility. It isn't about the money. It's not about the home time. It's about, do you want the responsibility? Do you want to be responsible for repairs? Do you want to be responsible for expenses? Do you want to be responsible for downtime? Do you want to be responsible for extreme surplus? Do you want to be responsible for very profitable weeks? Like, do you want to be responsible for the ups and the downs? That's the real difference between being a company driver and a lease operator. All right, I'm checking out, y'all. Love y'all. Find you somebody to love. Don't forget, it is not about what you believe, it's why you believe it, and live free.
Ooh, baby, baby.